What's going on, Crystal Palace fans? It is your man T, and welcome to another rendition of Palace News. We got some good stuff to talk about. Hopefully, to help satisfy, the lack thereof with football in our lives right now. Me and Nick were actually talking about that just a second ago. Looks like we're going to have some news related to some funds that were loaned out from a major company, as well as talking a little bit about news about Sam Johnstone and his injury, as well as talking a little bit about a possible um, transfer target for Palace. We'll get into all these things, and of course, chat with you all a little bit about what you all have seen and what you all have thought about things going on recently. But Nick, man, pleasure to have you. Pleasure to be doing this with you, man. How are you?
It seems such a long, long time since we've had anything to talk about Palace. International break stink, man. Apart from Munoz with
That
absolutely
goal,
incredible goal.
and it's just one of
It's
those things. It's I watched it, man. I'm thinking to myself, think about what Selhurst would have been like
when you
if
got
he scored that. If he scores that goal at Sellers,
yeah,
like,
imagine. But you've got Elise who can put balls across like that.
oh,
With
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. Now the thing is, he's on the same side as Elise,
yeah, that's
so
true.
that may
That's
be a ball from maybe Eze or maybe a midfielder. Who knows? But I mean, either way, hopefully the finish can happen the same way.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Or from Mitchell. You saw Chris Richards.
Yeah, man. I was, if everybody is watching, Nick and I were able to have a little bit of a talk before we started, and the main thing was just that it's been so long, since we've had the chance to really see some good football, or to see Palace for that matter. And I said I was happy to be able to watch a little bit of Chris Richards with the United States men's national team in the semifinals and the finals last night of the Nations League. Last night against Mexico, the U.S. won the championship, the Nations League championship, and Chris Richards looked fantastic, man. From his passing acumen to his defending duels, um, playing in the air, his aerial duels, like he just looked really good, man, and it was great to see him have a good match like that. So
Yeah, that's good. That's really good to see. Um, so it wasn't such a good international break for England, and not really for Sam Johnson, was it? That's what you worry about when your players go out. What's happened to Sam T?
yeah, man, it looks like from what we've seen with Sam it's an elbow injury. Now the weird thing for me, Nick, that I'm seeing with this is it was originally said that he was leaving and that it was not a serious injury. And I think that came from Sammy Mokbel. And then another tweet from the same source, I think maybe a day or so, I think maybe a day later, a few hours later, if that, but came out and said that he may end up being out for the rest of the year.
No,
Or it says something about a fight to be fit for the rest of the year. And it's like, wait a
and for the Euros as well.
man, it's like, wait a minute. How do we go from uh, not serious to, oh, he may be out for the rest of the year? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that. I'm gonna look up, see if I can find the actual tweets. But yeah,
yeah, but
the
it's
recent one.
we seem to have gone from we've been superfluous with goalkeeper. We had loads of goalkeepers, and then suddenly we've we've got doubts because there's the man we paid 30 million quid's coming in, and we're not everybody's that happy with how he's performed so far,
Yeah, exactly. So
which is a
yeah,
little bit worrying.
yesterday, March 24th, he tweeted that Sam Johnstone was leaving the England camp to return to Crystal Palace with an elbow injury. Injury not serious, and that Burnley keeper James Trafford was called up in his place. So that was on the 24th. So that was yesterday. But then, what, 11 hours ago. So for me, early this morning. So
Yeah.
um, it comes out exclusive. Crystal Palace goalkeeper Sam Johnston in a race against time to play again this season after
Well,
suffering an elbow injury on England duty.
all I can
World
think of,
2024 hopes now at risk.
yeah, all I can think is they didn't think it was as serious as it was at first, and probably had a scan that showed something,
Yeah,
maybe a
I mean, because
fracture or something like that.
I don't think you leave for a not serious injury.
You
Like,
think he was trying to
I
do
don't
that
know.
to Pickford to try and get him out of the team, and then injured himself in the
Who knows, man? All
honestly.
I know is we haven't been having the best injury luck with goalkeepers recently, for sure. So with this possibly being the situation, I mean, we're not even talking about for Nottingham on the 30th.
Yeah, yeah,
We're talking about the rest of the season from what the latest report says. So with that being said, like you said, there's a lot of people that aren't so happy about the fact that this brings Dean Henderson back into the fold. How do you feel about possibly having him back?
well, I'll leave it to Mike O'Sullivan to say that. I can now see us losing again to Forest if Super Sam cannot be in the squad, and forcing Hendo to do his worst at the City Ground.
I, I hate that could be the reality of things. You would hope that maybe Hendo's a little bit more motivated because he's going against his old squad, and maybe he puts in a fantastic performance. But I think the thing that worries me is just the thing that you get with Sam is he's going to make some very clutch saves. He's going to make some big saves. Like he's
Yeah,
going to stop the other team from scoring um, one to maybe even two serious tries. Do we get that with Dean Henderson? What do you think?
see, he has made some good saves, but I think he was. Is it the golfer's term, the jits, or a darts player, where
Mm-hmm.
you just get a
Mm-hmm.
bit shaky? I think he
Yep.
was suffering a little bit from that. But it is what it is. He's a good keeper. I mean, he's not a terrible keeper. I think it's just a case of the fans have really taken to Sam Johnson, who has got a chance. Hendo hasn't,
Yeah.
but Hendo's a quality keeper, so
Yeah.
I'm not too worried. And we've got Whitworth to step in, or who's the other guy, the reserve goalkeeper?
Owen. Well, we got Owen. But he's on
Yeah,
loan, but I think he could be
yeah.
really good. Like,
Yeah, he keeps getting man of the matches. Back on the subject of England, the centre backs didn't fare so well. Um, people talking about Gay.
mm-hmm.
Hopefully, he's going to be fit enough to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I see that Adam Wharton's been called up to the England under 21s.
Yep.
He
Mm-hmm.
played for
Mm-hmm.
the England. I can't remember what they were called. The elite squad. It used to be the
It was
under
the
18.
it was
Used
the
to be the under
under
18s.
18 or
Yeah,
19s. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's been called up for the Luxembourg game tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, hopefully this puts him on a fast track towards the first team because it seems like England's first team could really use some impact midfield players. If I'm being quite honest with you, um, I mean, you got a guy like Declan Rice who's really talented, and it seems like they're just struggling to find that person to put next to him. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, to make things work, and maybe Adam Morton's now on the path to becoming that guy. Who knows? I mean, I'm happy for him though. Really happy that he's getting an opportunity.
Yeah, his class. Just going back to Henderson there, Andy Mack said Henderson isn't Sam J. Agree with you there, but he's not
No,
as bad as Remy. Why do we always look on
no.
the bad side? Can he do a job? Yes. Is he a number one? No, not yet. So
I think
a rare
Andy's. I
piece
think.
of sanity there from Andy Mack.
I think Andy's assessment there is close to spot on as anything can come. You
Yeah,
know, I no, I don't think um, Hendo is as good of a shot stopper or as good of a he's good with his distribution as Sam is, but he's a quality goalkeeper.
and
He's
as long
much
as
better, and
yeah,
he's much better than Remy Martin Matthews. So let me say that.
Yeah, and don't forget, under Glasner ball, we should have a better kind of better defense,
True,
hopefully, which
true.
means that
And
he'll have to face less shots.
have we seen Henderson yet with Glasner?
I don't think we have.
I don't think he hasn't played under Glasner yet in this system.
No.
I don't think so. That's another thing to look at is the fact that he hasn't had the opportunity to play necessarily in this system. I know it may not necessarily mean as much for a goalkeeper in certain aspects, but like you said, in a situation where we have more possession, that could equate to him seeing less shots. So, which is a good thing for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I think the big news today, and we'll talk about this small thing first, and then we'll get to the bigger news. That's probably gonna take up most of the time. But Crystal Palace, along with Manchester City and Newcastle United, are being linked with. I think you spell it, or I think you pronounce it, Loran, who is one of the jewels of Flamengo's academy. Um, it says that the player has a contract with the Rubro Negro until December 2025 with a 50 million euro release clause, and that was from One Football. So this is another Brazilian prospect that apparently us and a couple of other bigger sides have interest in. Um, where do you stand, Nick, on us possibly being interested in another Brazilian youth player?
Well, I googled his name, and the praise that flowed out of my hair computer screen was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's played a couple of games in the Copa Libertadores. Is that how you pronounce it? And I know
Yep.
he's made a couple of goals and an assist, or it might be 1 goal and 2 assists in 3 games there. So, but yeah, I mean, if Man City are after him, do we have a chance, or does he
And
have a gap?
Man City does really well with getting Brazilian talent too.
Yeah, yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
But would he want to be a bench warmer, or would he like to come over here? Because this all ties in, I think, with another story we're going to touch upon with about the loan, and I'm kind of going to bring that in now. I'll let you go into the details of the loan in a bit, but there's been talk about Palace getting a loan from a company called MGG out of New York, which would suggest that we're looking to splash the cash a bit in order to go forward with the Glasner project. Now, whether that means we're going to be offloading some players as well, I don't know, but it could be good. And if France is, it's only rumours and speculation, and we like to have these things and think, oh wow, it'd be 3 South Americans in the team then, as well, wouldn't it? Because we'd have no, four. Yeah.
Four. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pride of South America.
Hey, I mean, the thing about it is South London, South America. I mean, I think the part of it, man, is quality, and it just so happens that a country like Brazil, countries like Colombia, they have talent in abundance, and that's why you see so many guys and so many teams like the Man Cities of the world going out and getting these kids because they're really good. I mean, Man City went and got Kai, and he's in their program right now. They got what's the kid's name that there's probably gonna be playing for them, Savinho. So so Man City is showing that they have no problem with going out and getting those young guys and developing them. Now I think that the thing that's important is what I just said, the time to develop them. For us, I think right now, and with a lot of our moves and with a lot of what we want to do, we want to bring people in. We want to bring players in that are going to be, playing right away. You know what I mean?
That said, on one of these spammy football websites you occasionally see on Facebook or linked to on Twitter, where you can't actually read the article because there's so many adverts in the way. I saw one of them that said that Man City and Chelsea are going to be relegated because of FFP. So they won't be looking for many Brazilian players.
That'd be crazy, man. If they got relegated, that would be
Do the whole
nuts, man.
Juventus. CPFC Jordan has said the thing with Brazilian players, I think you need 2 or 3 to link up together with that beautiful samba style. We've got 3. We've already just explained that. So let's see a bit of samba style with the 3
We're
we've
getting
got.
there. We're getting there, man. We're getting there. We're getting
Oh
there.
no, we got one. I'm thinking of the Colombian players. Sorry to
No, I see. I see
call
what he
South
means.
America in
I see what he means,
in
though.
yeah.
I mean, when you got a team like you know, Real Madrid, who's set to have an attacking trio of all Brazilian players, once they add a guy like Endrick, I get what it is. I mean, a lot of times, and plus, I mean, what that also equates to, also for those guys, is a level of comfort. You know what I mean? You're coming to England, to Europe from Brazil, where you may not be as comfortable, but to have some countrymen, some compatriots with you, that helps out as well. So, whatever it takes to help those guys develop and play their best is what's most important. But like you said, those it's just rumors, it's just conjecture. We don't know what things will happen, and like I said, I mean, the kid also has a $50 million €50 million release clause, so that might be a little bit too rich for our blood. So we'll see. But on to the real big news for today. So Crystal Palace is taking out a loan from American lenders MGG Investment Group. In a move which suggests that the club are preparing for a busy summer in the transfer market with a significant number of player sales. So MGG itself is a financial investment firm that is out of New York, as Nick mentioned earlier. They actually were started in 2014, so they are a newer investment group in the financial world. But the loan is understood to be secured against future transfer receipts. With sources involved telling Mail Sport that the money is to be used to fund player training and day-to-day operating costs. So we've been doing some digging. We've had our people behind the scenes, aka Tim. So shout out to you, Tim, man.
Our unpaid intern.
Right, doing some digging and trying to get us an understanding. And he sent us an email with a couple of links to some things. But it looks like back in February, MGG actually released an anonymous account of their investment in a Premier League club. At the time, there was no club name attached to it, but turns out that it was actually Palace. So back in February, they released that MGG Investment Group LP announced that it has invested in an English Premier League football club to fund player training and ongoing working capital. This transaction showcases MGG's core direct lending strategy, as well as the firm's ability to source attractive and growing businesses in the middle market. So, so it sounds like this deal has been in the works for some time, Tim. And it sounds like, from what Tim was telling us in his email, that it's likely that this deal is like what Macquarie provides for clubs, which is bridge financing to make deals that are then paid back by the proceeds from completed transfers, commercial revenue, or the like. The loans are probably expensive if they're as short term as I think they could be. So we'll see, but it looks like these types of loans are then paid back in kind from the money that they get from the transactions that will happen thereafter.
Yeah. Look at you getting a thereafter in to make it sound like the speech.
Sprinkling on there,
Now, CPFC Jordan said he's surprised they've gone to someone else and not asked H&B, presuming that's Harrison Blitzer for the loan. That was their business agreement with the club. Do you know anything about this? I mean, it does kind of make sense to borrow from within, doesn't it?
It does make sense to borrow from within, but then I did see another press release or article that said that they were getting money from shareholders, Harrison Blitzer, to further fund the stadium or the
right. So that's where all their fingers are. They're in the main stand.
So they went. So they went
By
internally. So they went internally for the stadium for the main stand, and then they went externally for the transfer budget and operation stuff. And I would think that the transfer stuff hopefully will be the lesser of the two costs in this situation. So then your loan, your internal loan, is more than your external, which is, I think, smarter business.
and I've just put that up from Shane Dinich, who's asking about the newsstand. That kind of semi answered that question. I don't think anybody other than Steve Parrish and maybe a few contractors know the full ins and outs of that.
Right, have any idea what's going on? they've. I will say, they have kept it very, very close to the vest, and I think a big part of that is just the fact that they don't want, they don't want to, they probably don't want to put out anything to us, and then not be able to, uh, follow through on those dates or deadlines that they give. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll look at all the hush hush behind Glasner, if he was indeed, in the frame for as long as it said he was after he got the job, because that was a real curveball when he came in. I think nobody's expecting it. Only Stan of this
Right.
parish
Mhm.
was the only one who foresaw that. But it's interesting that it's kind of this far ahead, so it looks like they are looking to build for the future a little bit.
Yeah,
But
and
it's
obviously they're gearing up. They're
the only
gearing up to
worry
put some money
is
out there.
I just hope that with all the FFP thing going on, especially if and we're all praying it happens, that Man City and Chelsea get relegated because of FFP. Clubs are going to be really, really scared of overspending, which I
Yeah, I think
think
this summer might
might
look different.
it might deflate the market. So if it's
Yeah.
a short-term loan and we're looking at offloading an Elise or somebody else, then does that mean we get the deflated price, which means I don't know.
So here's my question, because and maybe this isn't just it, maybe and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just from how I'm seeing this. You take out a loan to fund your transfers, or to fund transfers operation, right?
Yeah.
Why do you take out that loan if you plan on selling one of our more keynote players who are going to bring in a lot of money that can then be used in the market? Why do you take out that loan? So say I sell an Elise for 70 million. I can immediately reinvest that 70 million to bring in reinforcements to the squad. Why do I
This
then need to
this is
have that
true,
additional large sum loan come in?
because if you've got the money in your pocket already, albeit from a loan that you've got to
So
pay
spend
back,
you could
you
spend
can actually
spend
spend it
with the
before you sell
players.
a lease.
Gotcha. So
Otherwise,
with
you're
that being
banking on
said,
selling lease.
we can probably hope to see the team be more active on the front end of the window
Yeah, rather than the back end.
rather
We're
than
all
in the back
sitting
end,
here
where
bored,
we're very
rigid,
used to.
watching Tom and Jerry on the telly with the sound down because it's better than the transfer window because we're not going to buy anybody.
Exactly. Exactly.
on
So
that subject of transfers, because
mhm.
we've the finance thing, we'll find out in due course what players we're going to get when the season ends in what 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that. It's not long. Um,
Not long at all.
Jacob Jacob's asking about departures, and I know we were going to talk about possible signings as well. Um,
Hmm.
he's saying that he sees Gay and Elise being the two big sales. What do you think?
Well, I I mean, I think those two come up as the easiest targets, because I think they're probably going to be the most popular, the most sought after players. Um, but if you think about it and just go with me on this, all of these players that we brought in, their value now far exceeds what we brought them in for. And FFP is all based on how much you're spending versus how much is outgoing. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, So in this situation, we've got 3, 4, 5 guys that we probably brought in for the price of what one player can now go for.
Packet of crisps in a Mars bar, effectively.
You, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. Like for me personally, if especially with now bringing in a manager of Glasner's caliber, he wants and he's probably demanding to have the most competitive team he can. He wants to field the most competitive team that he can. And it's probably going to be hard if you get rid of two key guys like that. Like if you get rid of Elise and you get rid of Gahey, that's tough. You know what I mean? Whereas maybe you find some guys who have a lot of sell-on value that maybe don't necessarily set you back as much. My targets for moving, personally, would be to move on Joachim Anderson first and foremost. Here's why.
Not as good
Here,
as we think he is.
here's why. I'm not even going to say that. I'm not even going to go that far. I'm not even going to go that far.
Okay.
I think because I think he is a very, very good player. I do think that. But right
Denmark
now,
had another 0-0 at the weekend where he was on
yeah,
duty. So
he's the player right now that has a high sell-on value, but he's also on the precipice of the age cusp.
okay.
If we hold on to him for another year or two, we're going to see his value significantly decrease from where it is right now. Because he's like, I think he's like 27. So he's like right on the cusp of where we can get a really, really good sell on amount from him right now.
Yeah.
And we can still reinvest in our team and be able to move forward with Gahey and Chris Richards. He's just like what Jordan just said. Joa is the right age to sell. Because if we sell him right now, we're gonna get an optimal amount for him, and the team that we're selling him to is going to get 3 to 4 years of him in his true prime as a center back. So he's the first one I would want to move on from. I would also consider moving on from a guy like Edouard, who may not be a Premier League striker, but he can be a quality striker in some other leagues where they'll pay a good amount for him.
I thought you were going to say the Welsh League then.
I don't want him to have to go back there, but I mean, I feel like I feel like he goes to League One, he'll get goals. He'll go to Portugal, he'll get goals. He'll go to Serie A, he'll get goals. Like there are other leagues where he'll go and he'll play well, and they're going to pay for him. So with just those two guys, you make those two sales, you're talking about anywhere from 45 to 60 million between those two guys. And that 45 to 60 million covers a great deal of the outlay that we've put out on the guys that have high value. I mean, as they cost us 20. Decore cost us 20. Elise only costed us 8. That's 48 right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it brings the books into balance on the FFP side while still maintaining those really, really quality players that Glasner is going to want to possibly move the needle forward for us in the future. Now,
you've just while I've got real Elio's comment up there about being naive. I don't think we could sell any of these players. Surely Glasner wants them all these players. Yes, we do. But as T just explained, the FFP, you've got to have outgoings as well as incomings.
Mm-hmm. So then it's just a matter of, and it's not necessarily like in Elio, you have a point. It's not necessarily any of those guys necessarily, but it's got to be somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we got to think we have 8 guys that are out of contract.
Yeah.
At the end of the season.
Would you offer any of them a new contract?
Some of them I would. I think there's a case to bring back a guy like Will Hughes. I think Joe Ward. I think keep on Joe Ward because you want to have veteran leadership, and you want to have a solid guy that you can bring in and play if you need him, kind of like how we are right now.
Yeah.
With Gahey being out, Joel Ward's in there. He's doing a job.
He's
Nobody's
doing more
nobody's.
than a job, T. Come
Yeah, I
on.
mean,
There's,
what
it's
I mean,
like,
I mean, I meant
like
it as
Lazarus.
I meant it as he's in there and he's playing, and you're not hearing anybody complain about what he's doing out on the pitch.
No.
It's not like, oh, Joel Ward cost us this goal. Joel Ward cost us this. He's out there. He's playing well. There's no complaints. Now, is there a high amount of value above replacement with putting Gahey in there over him? Yes, absolutely. But for what we need for him right now, he's doing a bang up job. Is basically what I'm saying. So yeah, you keep a guy like Hughes. You keep a guy like Ward. I think Gyro leaves. I think Schlupp leaves. Um, I think Tompkins leaves.
How long's IU got? Did he sign
Huh?
another year?
IU
Jordan.
signed for another. I think IU
Yeah, I
signed
thought
for
he
another
had.
year already because they announced that already. So I think he's good until the end of next year. So I don't know. I think there are some smart moves that we can do um, in the window to keep a hold of some of these talented players that we have. I can just say that.
A couple of people in the chat have been talked about moving Ebbs on.
I would
And I've
move Ebbs.
heard
You know who?
people saying,
You know what midfielder I would move instead of Ebbs?
yeah,
I'd move Jefferson Lerma
yeah,
because Jefferson Lerma's in the same category, the exact same spot as Joa is. Jefferson Lerma's 29 years old.
yeah,
The thing is, we got him for free, so
yeah.
that gap of profit that we would have with Joa is still there because we got him for free. So even if we move Jefferson Lerma for 15 million, that's still a significant profit for us to move him on. And he's almost 30, and we got Decoria coming back, and now you have Adam Wharton. Because I think the one thing you don't want is trying to figure out who plays in that midfield too, and one of those guys is sitting, because right now it looks like it'll probably be Jefferson Lerma that ends up sitting, and he's the most seasoned vet out of all of them. So it's
I
like,
know,
move him on.
yeah. I know we're getting a bit previous talking about who we're going to move on because we've still got the rest of the season to play out, and we've got two very, very big games coming up against Forest and Bournemouth, which no doubt they'll be back at the nest content out about that. If you haven't liked the stream, by the way, make sure you do, or subscribe, tell everybody about it. Looking at CPFC Jordan there, Eddie, Joa and Ebbs, bringing left back, right back, centre back Cam and striker, and then possibly another centre back. He's on a supermarket dash, isn't he? This one wants to fill in all positions.
But I mean, I feel where he's going with it, though. I feel where he's going with it. I mean, I think I move Eddie, Joa, and Lerma personally, but to each their own. But
I'm agreeing with the first half of Jacob's comment there about Mitchell needing someone to compete with him. I'm not sure PVA is the answer.
Nah,
he's beyond that cusp that T was talking about.
But Jacob, I see what you mean. I mean, if you get Glasner's system 7 years ago, PVA is the perfect left back for that system, though. But
I'm not sure how much we got left to talk about, but I just want to. I brought this one up, T, because before the international break, there was a lot of talk about Dougie going to Man United. It's kind of fizzled out a bit, that hasn't it?
Oh yeah, Man United. I think Man United they bowed out of that pretty quickly. I feel like they came through and said, yeah, that's not happening pretty fast. And I wonder if that was, I wonder what that was akin to. Is this the fact that Dougie is like, hey, you guys aren't going to follow, the plan and the infrastructure that I work by, or if it just wasn't a good fit. But I'm never going to complain about being able to keep a guy like Dougie after what he's done for us in the market for sure.
Exactly. Exactly. We got anything else tonight, T?
No, man, I think that's about it. I want to say thank you to everybody that's tuning in today, man. Thank you to you, Nick, for coming in and
No worries.
always providing fantastic insight and things. For you guys that are tuning in, we'll always be uh, hitting you guys with new content and things. Finally, looking forward to a match weekend. You know, we're going to be having a match preview coming out here soon, and I'm sure probably D's going to be looking into an opposition preview as well with the fan from Nottingham. So. We'll be looking forward to all those things going forward, and we appreciate you all tuning in. And as always, man, up the palace.
Up the palace.